All right, welcome to Canva. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the profile pic template that is probably below this video. So if you're watching this video, there should be a button below this that says like, hey, here it is. Here's the profile pic template. So this is what it's going to look like. When you click that link, it is going to prompt you to make a copy so that you're not editing the template that everybody else is using. So go ahead and make a copy. And then you're going to have something that looks like this. Now, if you've not used Canva before, this isn't, there's not a whole lot new that you have to learn. But how I created this profile pic template is I actually put a circle on top of this white background here. And the reason why I put that circle there is this is your guide. This is what we need to stay inside of. And this circle is going to help to be your guide. So we can actually kind of move it off to the side here, not all the way away. We need to make sure we can still find it. And then we're going to work on the profile pic here. And then I'm going to show you how to use that circle as a guide. Actually, we can leave it there. We'll leave it there for now. Okay, so if you have a logo, this is the time to upload it. So I'm going to go to my uploads and we're going to find, let's say this crab is our logo. We're just going to pretend this crab is our logo. So what we're going to do is using that circle as a guide, we're going to kind of make this crab bigger. Let's see, we're going to make it as big as the document itself. Okay, so I just want you to kind of see what we're doing here. Now we're going to hit this little position button and we're going to send that crab backwards. We want the circle to be on top of the crab. Now with the circle on top of the crab, you're going to see this little transparency box here, and we're going to increase the So what you're seeing inside of this shaded circle is what is going to end up being on the actual profile pic, okay? So that's what we're using that circle for. Now, Facebook wants us to upload a square, but it only gives us a circle. So we're using that circle as a guide. And you can see here that, okay, some of his legs are cut off. Some of the top pinchers are cut off, but we might be able to work with that. So I'm going to move the circle here. I'm going to move him down a little bit so that his claws aren't quite outside of that circle. We're going to move the circle back in. And now you can see this is pretty well centered into the circle. And the legs are cut off a little bit there, but it actually looks pretty good. So this is what I would then download and upload to use on the site. Now here's some mistakes that some people will make. We're going to move the circle and it's on the top now, so I can't do things without it. So we're going to delete the crab. We're going to redo the crab. And so what a lot of people will do is say, all right, look, there's my crab. I'm going to put that as my profile pic. But this is what it would actually look like is you'd have a white background. Everywhere where the gray is would be white because we're just using that for now. And then you would have this square sitting in the middle of the white. And then you would have the crab would be really tiny in the middle. Okay, so let's make our crab a little bit bigger. Okay, now we're going to position the crab backward again. And you can see that the circle goes farther than the picture. So you would actually end up with these weird square lines on the side of your crab that would look funny when we upload this as a profile pic. In fact, I'm going to pause this. I'm going to bring up one of my a dummy page I have, and I'm going to show you what this would look like when you actually upload it to Facebook. Okay, so I have my Bob's AC in Southwest Florida page set up. This is just kind of a dummy account that I use for showing things. So we're going to download this crab. First of all, I'm going to delete that circle. Always delete the circle before you download. You can always go back and add it again just by hitting the back button right up here, that back button. All right, now I'm going to upload this We're going to upload the crab. Now see how that looks funky? Now we could do some things with it. We could actually reposition this a little bit to get it in there properly. So there's some of this you can do when you actually upload it, but it's better to know what's going to fit. I know this will fit now because I was playing with it in Canva. But if I didn't reposition that, I want you to look at how that would look. All right, see those weird white lines on the side? And also the background of the crab is a little bit dark. It doesn't pop as much. I don't know that I would use this crab because look how dark that starts to look on the bottom. I don't really love that. Let's see if we reposition this crab. And this is why it's important to test it. We're going to edit the profile pic. See if we reposition it where we're focusing more on the pinchers. We're going to save it. Okay, so now see, so much of it has gotten cut off that we can't even quite tell that it's a crab anymore. So in my opinion, this is probably not the best picture as is. Now what we can do, because some of this issue with the crab is it's a little bit too dark, we can edit this photo and we can click adjust and we can bring up the brightness. We can bring up the contrast. And then we can also, this is a little trick that you can learn on Canva. We're going to hit this, the background there. We're going to hit this background color. And look at that beige color. We can kind of match. Doesn't match perfectly. But now let's try to download. Oops, we don't want to download it with the circle there. The circle all the way off. Download and download. Now I know this seems like a lot of work and you probably don't want to do it. That's fine. You can hire somebody to do that, but you need to know the basic principles of what looks good and what doesn't. Because if you hire somebody to do this and you don't know what it should look like, I got to tell you, there's a lot of people out there who also don't know what it should look like. So let's save it as is. Let's see how that crab looks. Okay, that looks like a crab, not quite so dark on the bottom. So there are things we can do. We can even go to the crab, edit photo, and remove the background. Now, the reason I didn't do this the first time on this crab is because I was afraid it was going to do some funny things, but that's actually not too bad. And we can make the background completely white. And we will download our picture. I'm going to put this new crab on there. And make sure it fills up the space. Let's see how it looks. So here you can see, you can kind of at least get the idea of it. It's definitely brighter, but I want you to notice how very small that is. Like here it looks nice. Here it looks pretty good, but this is awfully small to be able to tell what that actually is. And the reason why is there's a lot of details on this crab, right? There's a lot going on the crab. So one of the things you can do if you don't have a logo and if you don't have a, and you have pictures, but maybe you're experiencing this where it gets really small and it's just difficult to see. Another thing you can do is you can actually go directly to Canva over here where it says elements. We're going to make sure we get our circle back here. There we go. I want my circle back because the circle is the guide. Circle is what helps keep me in line. I'm going to delete the crab and make the background white again, just so I'm kind of like starting with a blank canvas again. And we're going to go to Elements. And I already searched earlier for catering. And then we go to the graphics. People are tempted to go to photos, but if we do photos, then we're going to end up looking kind of muddy. It's very, very difficult to, cut out the entire background and to get a lot of details with photos. I find that graphics work really, really well. And what I liked for catering was this one. And I can see exactly how big to make it. I like that it's already in a circle. We're going to make it to fit the circle. Okay. And the circle had a background to it. So now I know it's the right size. I'm going to move the circle out of the way because I don't want it showing through. And what's cool about this particular graphic is I can change the color. So I could change it to my rabbit toy orange. I could change it to a pink. I really, really love these greens. If you've not noticed on my own page, I use a lot of these greens. So now let's try that. We're going to download. It's not overly clever, right? It's fairly simple, but we're going to see how it looks. Okay. We'll make sure it's in there, and it is. Because we sized it up on the square Canva template, we know that it's going to fit. So that's not too bad. You can tell pretty well that that's a spoon and a fork. It's a little bit small and some of the detail is missing, but it's clean and clear enough that I would be pretty happy with that. And especially if it's showing next to a name that's talking about catering, it would definitely pop a bit more. But you can see all of these different graphics that Canva gives you. Now, some of them are too complicated. There's too much going on in it. I wouldn't mind like this hand with the platter or whatever you want to call it. That's not too bad. This circle with the silverware on both sides might get a little bit too small by the time we shrink it down to make sure it fits the main circle, which again, we want to bring our circle back in case we need it. All right. And, something like this with the empty platter, that's probably not descriptive enough. You could do something like a chef's hat, but that might get a little bit lost. Something like this looks clever where you got the spoon, the knife, and the fork, but you lose a lot of detail there. When it gets shrunk small, what is it that we're actually looking at? This with the steam coming off, that's not a bad idea. Here, again, it looks like it would be great, except the text is going to get shrunk down pretty far, so I would avoid that one. I tend to avoid the super cutesy ones that are like, just so adorable. I kind of like this one where you have the platter there with the heart. You've got the chef's hat again. Something like this isn't bad. I love the contrast there. Although that dot on the top might end up getting lost. So basically, I know not all of you are caterers, but what I'm doing is I'm using this as an example of different graphics that you might be able to use, just looking through the graphics that Canva has available to you, especially if you don't already have a logo or if the logo you have doesn't match. So you could take this knife or this fork and spoon and use your logo colors, just like I did with the rabbit toy business, or that's the color of Small Shop Discovery. I had to think about it there for a second. That's the color of Small Shop Discovery. So if you already have colors from for your logo, but your logo won't actually fit on here, then you can change you can pick something and change the colors of it so that it will at least match your coloring. Now, if you have a logo, let's go back here. I'm going to go down to some logos. So this was a client of mine where his logo is very wide. So we put that on there. If we try to get that whole logo on there and not have it cut off, you can see just how small that's going to be, and it's not going to be readable. And since it's not going to be readable anyhow, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just click on the image. I'm going to move over so that the text is gone. And then I'm going to blow it up so that it fits in my circle without getting cut off too bad. I'm going to position it backwards so I can see where my margins are and make sure it's pretty well centered. Okay, so we'll call that good. Then I'm going to take the circle off the top. We're going to download it. And again, that's really important because some people may make this to where these, the staff goes all the way to the top and the bottom. But you can see that this is fortunately very circular in its base. Sometimes you go tall because the sides aren't coming out that far, but then it doesn't fit properly on the profile pic. So we are going to edit the profile pic. We're going to upload this new one. You're going to see how nicely it fits there. I'm going to save it and look at how nice that looks. Again, it's a little bit hard to tell the details, but the colors are bright, they pop, and they're definitely working where it comes to the branding. The branding is going to be consistent across the board. But then if I took this, let's see, if how do I want to do that? I wish I could just download just this guy because I don't have it saved on this computer. So let me see if I can download this and then I'll show you. Okay, so I downloaded the full logo and we're going to upload it. So I'm going to be silly and just pretend like, because this is a lot of people do this. They upload it and they're like, cool, save. And that's what they end up getting. It's not anything like what they want. I see this time and time again. So it's good to edit it first. And in this case, show you a trick. Nope, it's not going to let me do it. I can only drag to reposition. All right, we'll have to upload it again because it actually cut it. In this case, you may be able to drag this over and you're going to get cut off a little bit, but it will at least be better than what's showing there. So that's how you can use your logo, even if there is text with it, when it's like this. There are other, let's see, like this one here is what I was thinking about earlier. There's like this was actually Brava's in the white, that's why. That's the other thing you got to watch out for. If the text is in the white, you're going to want to put a background color. So we could do maybe a light blue, or we could do a dark, maybe a dark blue like that. And I did not save my circle. I'm going to go back so I can grab my circle back. All right, so we're going to try it again. So I want to make sure that it fits inside the circle, which means you may have to bring the text up a little bit like this. But that's what's going to happen. It's going to have to be positioned like that for this to fit properly. And we can actually change the background color of our circle if we want to in this particular case. And bring our transparency up. And you see how it's a little bit tight there? We could bring it up a little bit further. Then you're going to have a lot of empty space on the bottom. So let's take a look at it. Let's see how it looks. All right, we're going to upload photo. I'm going to save it. So that's only 5 letters there. much easier to see, a little bit more difficult for the roof, for you to see the roof. But fortunately, they created this this graphic to actually be separate, which is pretty cool. So you can change the color of the text. It's actually going to pop better. So let's see how it looks there. So it's really not a one size fits all. This really depends on your business name and your logo. And this is why the Facebook group is so important. If you need help with this stuff, this is why it's so important. And you can see that looks pretty good. You can read what it says there. We've still got the little roof on there. So that's pretty good. I like that quite a bit. And I would be okay with using that if that was my company. I think that that would be fair. Even though it's going to say Brava again over here, that's a little obnoxious, but just the red roof by itself might be just a little too plain, and we want to actually have the logo there. So this is just a bunch of examples and how you can use Canva to either find a image if you don't have one. You can use the logo that you already have. And we'll do one last one. We're going to go back, get my circle back, and we are going to find a picture of me, or a picture of somebody. This is a good headshot. This is not of me, but this is a good headshot of somebody. So this would be a good example to use. This is why I like seeing people take pictures that have a little bit of extra room on the sides, because if it's too tight, it's difficult to use. We're going to position this backwards, and then we're going to turn this back to gray, light gray, and add transparency so we can see what fits. And there you can see how it's going to fit directly in there. And again, what a lot of people will do is they'll make it too small or too big. You want it to be positioned in a way. Let's see if we make this smaller. Okay, we're going to put our circle back over it. If we made it smaller, look at how much is cut off on the sides. So it can be smaller, but then her face is going to be pretty small. I'm going to move this off here. And you're going to have that white on the sides. And then let's go ahead and upload one where we have brought her up to size. And I'm going to guess that it's right around there. Then we're going to bring in the circle, square the circle up. It's not perfectly centered, but like that's okay. And then we'll download that one. And let's look. And you can see that nice plain gray background. It's perfect for a profile pic. And we'll do this one. So if we uploaded it like this and did not edit it any further, that's what it's going to look like. That's not very professional looking. So by doing that little bit of editing and figuring out where we need to be, we don't have to shrink anything in. And we know that it's going to fit appropriately. There. And that looks very, very clean. Maybe a little bit too dark on the background, but it's clean. It doesn't look cluttered. It doesn't look a mess. And that would be a totally fine profile pic to use if that's what you're going to use if you're going to use a headshot for your profile pic. All right. So again, you know, this is all dependent on your business. There is no one size fits all here. So if you need more help, ask in the group. click below this video to grab your template and start playing around with some things. Get some feedback, get some help from us there in the group, and let's get you a great looking profile pic.